The Expanse Osiris Reborn is Owlcat Games' upcoming single-player, third-person, story-driven, party-based sci-fi action RPG, and it's being developed for consoles and PC. I wanted to do an introduction type video, what we know type video, as I do plan on covering this game on the channel, and it still seems like there's quite a few people out there that don't know much about it. So Owlcat Games is, of course, the studio behind the Pathfinder CRPGs, Rogue Trader, and the upcoming Dark Heresy CRPG, but they have now decided to step a bit out of their traditional CRPG style and into the AAA action RPG genre with Osiris Reborn. Now, one of the reasons why I am personally excited for this title is because it's Owlcat, and they are a studio that are very good at creating actual in-depth RPGs. And although Osiris Reborn certainly won't be as complex as their CRPGs, I'm still excited to see what in their design philosophy is brought over to the action RPG genre. We currently do not have a release date, although many are predicting 2027 at the earliest. And as for an early access period, we have no news on that yet. However, I should point out that if you are a founder of the game at the Miller's Pack or above level, Owlcat does state that you'll get exclusive beta access to play an early build before everyone else. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So what exactly is this game? Well, The Expanse, which is part of the game's title, is an already established sci-fi franchise with over 9 novels written by Corey Books that came out from 2011 to 2021. And there's also a very well-received TV series called The Expanse, which is based on the books and can be viewed on Prime Video. I highly recommend it. The basic story premise of The Expanse as a franchise is that you have a colonized star system with high tension between the 3 main factions. And this is where most of the drama comes from, typically revolving around power dynamics, of course. We have the Earthers, which are those who are born on Earth. The Martians are those born on Mars. And the Belters are humans born on the Belt, which is comprised mostly of asteroids and some moons. Earth is where everyone originates from. It's currently an unhealthy planet, but very powerful nonetheless, under the rule of the United Nations. Mars you can think of like the American colonies seceding from Great Britain. Earthers traveled to Mars in an attempt to terraform it, but over time Mars becomes a place of its own and eventually secedes from Earth, having its own governing body, military, etc. The Belters I would think of as the working class, as they farm and provide valuable resources for Earth and Mars from the asteroids. Many times, though, the Belters are living in pretty rough, unfair conditions, and they're looked at as lower class. Although all of these factions are humans, Martians and especially Belters live in low-gravity environments, and this will alter their physiology over time, making them taller than Earthers, but also skinnier or more slender, if you will, with Belters being the most extreme noticeable difference compared to Earthers. These physical differences will be present in the game, which is pretty cool to hear because the TV show really didn't showcase this much. All of The Expanse takes place in our solar system, so you should be familiar with much of the terminology. The entire franchise is hard sci-fi, and the game is said to be no different. On top of faction tensions, though, without giving away too many show spoilers, there is a mysterious spreading biological technology called the protomolecule that basically has its own hive mind and can do all sorts of crazy things, including infect humans, take over entire ships, etc. And the protomolecule will play an important role in Osiris Reborn as well. And all of this blue crystal-like substance that you see in this Osiris Reborn trailer is protomolecule. This game is said to take place during the events of seasons 1 through 3.5 or so, with some characters from the books or show, if you will, being referenced in the game, and some of these characters will even show up in the game. And of course, the major events that take place in the Expanse books and show will also occur and be important to the game as well. But first and foremost, Osiris Reborn is about players finding their own path, making their own mark with their own new story in this solar system. This is not a video game adaptation of the show. Choice consequence with dialogue trees, etc. is said to play a big part in this game. And the player is going to be a captain of a ship and will be fighting to uncover the truth and reclaim control of their own fate. Owlcat even states that Osiris Reborn offers a truly personal journey that evolves based on the choices you make and the pressures they place on everything that you stand for. Your character, the player character, will be a customizable pink water security mercenary, and you'll be starting the game on Eros Station, where chaos erupts involving Protogen, and the station goes under strict quarantine. For those unaware, Eros Station is on a really large asteroid that supports around 1.5 million humans. Although we are still awaiting more info on character customization, a character creator has been confirmed, and it is said to be highly customizable with choices such as male or female, appearance options, and also selecting a background, with the choices being Earther, Martian, or Belter, each of which should offer their own set of unique, not only visuals, such as Belters likely being able to be taller and skinnier than humans, but probably not nearly as thick, but also offering effects on in-game dialogue and game reactivity in general. It's also possible, but not confirmed yet, that the background choice may affect certain character stats, such as humans possibly being stronger than Belters. As you create your character, your identical twin will also be forming, with possibly some very small differences such as hair. So yes, one of the companions, likely the most important one to your personal story, is said to be your identical twin named Jay. So I'd expect some interesting story arcs revolving around that. Outside of sex, appearance, and background, it is confirmed that there will be some sort of character build system where you'll have the option to pick suggested presets that put you on the right path to, for example, becoming a soldier type character, a more support focused character, or perhaps a more tanky type character. Do note though that you'll also be able to choose your abilities manually in character creation, and as you progress, the game does feature a fairly open progression system, so I would expect to be able to dip into various skill or ability trees, or whatever this game will call them. I did read though that there will be no melee focused combat build. I'm not sure if that means no melee period, but that is something that I read. If you're into close corridors combat, you'll more so be looking at specializing with weapons such as the shotgun. With all that said, don't expect 30 classes with 5 archetypes each, and that comes directly from Owlcat over on Reddit. Also very interesting to note, non-combat skill checks have been mentioned. So as far as character creation and builds go, there will be some sort of utility type skill ability system to invest into, with each specific skill having its own depth. Persuasion, a science skill, hacking skill, and some sort of lockpicking skill have all been confirmed, but it appears as if most, if not all, of these will be a flat number check in the game, so meet X number requirement to successfully use Y skill, no behind the scenes RNG dice rolling like you see in BG3. All right, let's talk a little bit about gameplay and combat, and then we'll get into companions, a very important topic to this game. Osiris Reborn is going to be using a hub and mission type structure to the gameplay. The prologue is said to be rather linear and will serve as a bit of a tutorial to the game, directing all players to go to a spaceship. And your ship in this game will serve as the game's central hub that you'll be returning to in between missions. The ship is going to progress visually in some way, shape, or form as the game progresses, but to what degree and how much control you, the player, have over its customization remains to be seen. At your ship, you'll be engaging in dialogue with companions, managing the game's various systems. Some sort of crafting, weapon, armor, and gadget upgrade system has been confirmed, and your ship is where you'll choose what you want to tackle next. You'll have main story missions, and at some points it's said that there will even be multiple main missions that you can choose from to do in an order of your own choosing. This game is not labeled as a linear game when it comes to the story itself, and as of right now it looks like it will be a 20 to 30 hour experience for those who focus on main objectives, I'm assuming. There will also be side missions, many of which are optional. I heard something about hunting certain targets, looking for clues for things, or you may just want to go somewhere and talk to a certain NPC. Your ship will allow you to travel to several different locations throughout the solar system by using the ship's interactive map. Ganymede, Luna, Ceres, Earth, Mars, and Io are all confirmed locations in the game, but there's likely many more than that, such as visiting other ships. Don't expect an open world experience though, as this game is more so mission focused with some explorable areas. I would think of it as a healthy mix of linearity and semi-open world when it comes specifically to map design. Lore and story lovers out there, there will be plenty of environmental storytelling to enjoy, as well as notes that can be found in the environment to provide you with more information on a location or an event. Some locations will of course put you in 0G environments and you'll be floating around at times, but like in the books and the show, there will be special magnetic boots that are able to cling on to surfaces so you can maneuver a bit easier, and these boots will of course help you from flying away into the abyss, something that does appear to be a gameplay possibility if you're not careful. At least the way that I read a few things, it seems like that can actually happen. Combat has a very heavy focus on utilizing cover to your advantage, popping in and out and down and up. Your health is said to regenerate over time, but some of the cover that you'll be behind will be able to be destroyed, so it's always good to be ready to move. And some opponents will of course go for flanking maneuvers if you just sit there for too long. You'll of course be shooting a ton of cool different guns and using gadgets and special abilities and throwing grenades. All of this will be grounded in some sense of realism. For example, in 0G environments, grenades will have their own thrusters. Owlcat even had some NASA folks, or has some NASA folks, helping design some of the gameplay elements so that everything can be more realistic. There will be opportunities to interact with the environment, such as blowing things up near your opponents or exploiting structural weaknesses, but your opponents are said to also be able to take advantage of opportunities like those as well. Some of these environmental actions are said to be unique to certain companions. Now, the two companions that you'll have with you at a time will of course be helping you out, each of which will have their own special combat abilities, and you'll be able to issue real-time commands to them, but to what extent we'll have to wait and see. As of September of 2025, friendly fire was still up in the air as to whether or not it will be a feature in the game, but if it does become a feature, it sounds like it'll be something that will be tied to the player chosen difficulty level of the game. And speaking of difficulty levels, story mode, normal mode, and hard mode are the three confirmed at this time.
Zafar, pull up NavTech.
Just a sec. Got it.
Now, since I just mentioned companions, this is a great time to transition into companions, as this is a party-based RPG and you are the captain of a ship. So 2 companions with you at a time for a party size of 3, with your spaceship acting as the shared temporary home for all of the companions that you pick up along the way. Each companion is said to bring with them their own personal history and motives for joining the mission. There will be some companion-specific content, and like I mentioned earlier, each companion will have their own specialties, which includes combat specialties and utility specialties, and you'll be able to customize some of this within each companion's specific framework, which involves equipment and weapon choices, abilities, and skill points. All of this will be to a lesser extent though from your main character. Also very important to note, Owlcat is pointing at relationships with companions being heavily shaped by the choices that you make, and they even hinted in the past at betrayal being possible. Romance is also confirmed, but to what extent and with whom we'll have to wait and see. We do know that not every companion will be romanceable though. One really cool tidbit of information is that the companions that you don't take with you will not just be sitting idly back on the ship. Owlcat has some sort of system in place that will have them still helping you with missions in their own ways, some of which you, the player and commander of the ship, are going to be able to assign to them. And this may include having companions form their own secondary teams that actually leave the ship, and you may see them out on a mission with you. You're just not in direct control of them as they're not part of your party of 3. You might be able to have one companion be the overwatch and radio contact for your party, or even choose a companion to play a very specific role on a specific mission separate from your party of 3. This is really cool to hear because I would say 99% of party-based RPGs out there, companions that you're not using tend to just sit back at your camp area doing basically nothing but being drama queens. So it'll be interesting to see what Owlcat actually does here. Taking a look at this official art right here, we can see several of the companions, a very good looking cast overall, I'd say. The gentleman on the bottom left with the nice hair is Zafar, a Martian who was a high-level engineer serving in the Martian Navy. And Zafar is described as loyal, professional, and protective, and he'll be helping with all sorts of things such as ship repairs, and he has his own unique exploration drone to aid us. And the gentleman above him is Michael, an Earther who, like Zafar, served in the military, but of course Michael served for Earth, not Mars. All we know is that we'll meet Michael by accident somewhere, and that if our personal goals line up with his, he can be a great friend and ally. Everyone else, with the exception of 1 or 2, are likely companions as well. This hybrid character right here, I won't spoil too much for those who haven't watched the show, but probably not a companion. And then of course the big helmet in the background with the character within it is either the player character or possibly the player character's twin. And on a side but related note, what you're looking at right now is the image that is shown when you listen to the main theme song that Owlcat recently released on their YouTube video. It's a really cool song in my opinion. I actually listen to it when I go to the gym, and I just look around. It kind of makes me sad that all these regular humans amongst me that are working out have no idea that they're working out with a future hero of the belt. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm happy that I did an introduction video, a what we know type video, so from here on out I can just cover news as it comes. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what Owlcat does here. I do have a bit of a focus right now on Exodus, as I think it's going to come out before Osiris Reborn, but once we get the release date for Osiris Reborn, I'll start planning out a bunch of content, most likely including a bit of a lore series leading us up to the game's launch and beyond. I'll catch you all in the next one.